Welcome back to my channel. I thought we would make this little Specimen Folio pouch thing today. I promised to give you the measurements on that. So we're gonna make this little guy today, and I am just going to use an upcycled file folder for the main pieces. Let me back out a little bit. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. This piece across here, this main wide piece here is one singular piece, and it is 5.5 inches tall by 11.5 inches wide. And then this piece up here and this piece down here are separate. So this one down here is 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and this one is 5 inches by 4.5 inches. So let me show you what that looks like. Here is a piece of file folder. So that's this one. And then here is another little piece, and then that is that one. And then here is the last one, and it is like this. So what we're going to do, we will start off with the long piece here. Stay. And grab my scoreboard. And what you do is you come in 3.5 inches from each side and make a score mark, or 3.25, sorry, 3.25 from this way, 3.25 from this way. So 1, 2, 3.25. There's one, and then you make another one at 3.5, and then you do the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to turn it around so I can just see 3.25 and 3.5. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold on those score lines. So that is our middle piece. Like so, okay? For this piece, so we want to turn it on its long side, where it is 5 inches going this way, the length. So if you put it on your scoreboard, go back 1 inch to the 4-inch mark and make a score line, and then go another 1/4 inch to 4.25. And then take the short piece and turn it so that it is on your scoreboard the short direction. So it should be 3.5 inches this way. And I want you to go up 1 inch, which would be 2.5, and make a score line. And then another 1/4 inch to 2.25 and make a score line. Okay, so there are our main pieces. So this piece goes here, and this piece goes down here. And grab your glue. Any tacky glue will be just fine. If you want to round over the corners, I did on this top piece is where I rounded the corners on that. And also, if you feel like sewing around any of the edges, you can do so at this point if you want to. And just put some glue on that 1-inch flap down here. This is the top piece that's going to fold down. I'm just going to put a little glue on there. And I want you to slide this underneath your main piece and match up the top edge of this main piece with the bottom score line. So you see that? It's just lined up with that bottom score line. And then the same thing on this one. Put some glue on this little 1-inch flap here. And then it gets slid underneath the bottom edge up to that first score line. Just like that. Okay. So now we have the main body put together, and one thing that I would suggest you do now is go ahead and make your the holes for these things, the little round pieces. And on the top flap, it's going to be in the middle, so find the center point on your piece, which is about here. And then let me grab this, and we're going to go down about 5/8 of an inch, or a little over 1/2 inch. So it's about right there. And I'm going to grab this thing and I'm going to put it on the 3/16 hole. And go ahead and punch that. So that's done. And what I did for these little attachments is I took some really heavy cardstock. Actually, it's several pieces, or 2 pieces of heavy cardstock that have been glued together, okay? And then these are 1-inch circles that I punched. And then these are little teeny tiny inky dinky, these are like 3/8 is what they are. And the reason why I cut little round pieces is because this gets glued to the center point of the bottom, like that. We'll let this set up while we're doing something else. Let this glue sit up. And what that does is it keeps this circle from sitting flush on the, let me show you. Do you see that little bit of a gap? You want that so that the string has room underneath there. So let's let these sit up for a minute. Let that glue get firm and dry. And what we can go ahead and do is make the little, you know, the things that go on the inside. So for the top, I made this little card slot. And this piece here is about 2 3/4 by the width, which is 4 1/2. So here is this little piece right here. And it can go right like that. It's going to go above the score line. You don't want anything in your score line because that's where everything folds over, right? So if you want to round the corners, you can round the corners. What I do is I usually put this on its side. And I take a ruler and I go up about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge, and I mark about 1/4 of an inch in and 1/4 of an inch in, like that. And then I just draw a line between each one, and then I go up about another 3/4 of an inch, 1, 2, 3, yeah. And I mark a circle 1/4 of an inch in and 1/4 of an inch in, and then a line in between them. You can do as many of these as you want. I'm going to do 3, I think. Do you like how confident I sound? Okay. And what I do, why I do that is I get back out my punch, and this is the 1/8 inch punch, and I punch holes on either side of these lines. And if you see on this one, do you see how I punch the holes on either side? So I go to the inside of these lines, not on the outside of where I marked, but on the inside. And I just punch holes on all 3 lines, the end of each one. So that it looks kind of like that. And then I take a clear ruler and a nice sharp knife, and I line up on either side of the line that I made, and with a craft knife I cut from one punch hole to the other punch hole, and then turn it around, and then we do it again from one punch hole to one punch hole, and that cuts a little slice out, a little slot, and then that leaves room for your stuff to go in. You can just make a slice if you want. I find that cutting a little sliver out of the middle is a little bit easier for me to get things in and out, material in and out of the little slot. So, okay. We cut the slices out, so now we have that. I'm not going to do it right now, but I usually will sew around the complete edge of this, and sometimes I even will make a stitch line around these like little buttonholes, and you can or don't have to. That's up to you. If you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry about it. On this one, I made a little bit of a top notch with a hole punch, so that's another option. You can do that as well. But we're just going to put this together, and you can decide on your own if you want to do sewing or that kind of thing. So I'm going to put a little string of glue around the bottom and both sides. And I suggest making this out of cardstock, fairly hefty cardstock. And you can ink it and, you know, do all that gobbledygook. So there's that. And then on this side, I have a pocket, so it is the height of our little door here, which is 5.5 by about 2 inches, give or take, right? So, of course, that's also, you know, up to you. It's relative because it's, you know, however size of a pocket, however big of a pocket, I just can't even talk straight today, you want to put. It can be skinnier, it can be wider. It's up to you. There's that. And I just line that up like that. And then that way that's a little pocket. And I did sew around mine on this one. And then down here on the bottom we have another pocket, voila. And this one is, again, the width. And then I made this one about 2.5 inches, 2 3/4 inches tall. And then that will go right dead center here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little notch. In the top. And let me grab the other, because I put a little pocket on top of a pocket. So I get this out, and contrasting a contrasting color, and I'm going to cut another little pocket 1.5 inches, and it's going to be just slightly narrower, about 1/2 inch more narrow than the main pocket, just cause I want it to kind of stand out a little bit. And again, you can make a little notch if you so choose. You can sew around it at this point, which is kind of adorable. I'll turn it around on this side. So I'm going to I'm going to glue the little pocket on top of the bigger pocket first. And then we'll glue the big pocket on. A little easier that way. I mean, you can spend as much time as you want adding little number codes and little book plates or labels or all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to line this up right above that score line. I like that. And then on this side, I had a little kind of a corner pocket. Where did I put it? So I have a couple of different things I could use. I wasn't really sure. I'm never sure. These are just some little scraps that I had laying around. That's what I put these together with. My husband brought home this box of hanging file folders that some guy in his office was, cleaning out some stuff, and they were just going to toss them. And my husband's like, no, my wife will use those. So he brought those home. So here's a little corner pocket over here. So now when we fold the barn doors, boom, 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 now we can mark where we're going to put the other hole for our other little circle. So this circle is going to go here. I'll find my other circle. And then this circle will go, down in this direction somewhere. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. Because that's what I do. I guesstimate. And punch a hole. Like that. Now our circles, with our little circles, are most likely dry, and they are. And I punch a hole through both. I think I need to cut a bigger circle. I do. I think I need to go to the 3/16 one. And 2. And now we take our through the hole and crunch that down. And then we'll do the same on this one. There we go. So now we can close it up like so, and just grab a piece of string and tie it to the top, or I usually tie it around the top one, and I just thread it through underneath and leave enough string to just tie a knot underneath that disc. And I'll just cut the tail off there. And now when you close it, then you just, for the first couple of times, you gotta lift that disc so that the string will fit underneath, but it kind of gets trained after a while. And then there you go. And you can leave some, you can leave it long, you can cut it short. That part is absolutely totally up to you. But this is the basic construction of the little Specimen Folio packet pouch thing. And they're great for putting inside books or albums or all kinds of things. You can give these as greeting cards. You put a gift card in there, kind of like our little pen pal folios and our little mini office folios. These can be used for all kinds of things. But that is the basic construction, so I hope you enjoyed that. There will be, underneath this video, there will be a little schematic over on Flickr that shows all the measurements. Is that okay? And then that way, that'll work. That'll be a little bit easier for everybody. Okay, so that's that. We got that done. I will be back really soon because I have flip throughs. I have 5 books ready and I may have one more. Because I'm hoping to do this today is Monday afternoon, so I'm hoping to do this tomorrow, which would be Tuesday. Very good, Nick, very good. So I have at this moment 3 commonplace books, which are like my Poe book. I have 3 commonplace books, and then I have the Ode to the Bee book, and then I have another one that's similar to Ode to the Bee. It's made like that, so it's made like in the antiquarian style. And like I said, I've got another one started, so there might be 4 commonplace books. So we can hope. We can hope if I get that done tonight. Because they take a long time to make. They have a lot of paper in them. Okay, so I will be back and I will show you a flip through of those so that they can be loaded up onto Etsy in a couple of days. I'll give it a couple of days before maybe we'll do that like Friday evening or something. I can load those up on Etsy. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this moment. I hope everybody had a great Monday, and I hope Monday didn't attack you very much like Monday usually does. That's what Monday, that's its job. Its job is to go around and just attack everybody. But my Monday wasn't too horrible, so I got a lot of work done today, so that's great. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. I hope everybody has a good night. Bye, guys.